Shalum. Shalum, O Yashar'al, set apart Yashar'al, individuals who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father. Welcome to the Inward Man. My name is Symmanayah, and this is the 44th installment. My brothers and sisters, you see before you, if you are looking at the image that represents this recording, you see the banner that says Yashar'al's destination, set apart mountain. And if you get to know the words that I speak and the things that I say in regarding end times, I believe the ring of fire will prove to enlarge and become a very instrumental component towards bringing Yasharal together, towards the gathering of Yashar'al for the final exodus and the destination to the region of the promised land. So I've said this before on more than one occasion, so I will not continue to speak on that at this moment. This segment of the Inward Man, which is a reflection of the things that are within inside of me, for I believe me and you and those who are indeed the set apart ones of Yahuah, we are experiencing being drawn by him. And I believe it is through our experience, through our obedience and worship and pursuit of set apartness, that we lift up Yahusha Mashiach. I believe we have an obligation as we experience the things that bring us into set apartness, that refines us, that reflects the discipline of the Almighty Father. We must test what stirs within us. We must test the actions that are around us. We must test the things we believe to see if they are indeed set apart. And this requires studying. But I want to bring your attention, O Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, to end time expectations. End time expectations. I will read Hebrews 11:1, for I think it is critical. It reads, "In belief is the substance of what is expected, the proof of what is not seen." I also want to drop down to Hebrews 11:6 says, "But without belief it is impossible to please him. For he who comes to the Almighty One has to believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who earnestly seek him." My brothers and sisters, we see individuals among us becoming very excited about end times and end time prophecies, including myself. There are many among us who are excited, but yet apprehensive or hesitant towards what lies ahead. There are many among us who believe that we are indeed the generation who will witness the physical return of Yahusha Mashiach, that we will witness much of what has been written regarding tribulation times in the final exodus. And if our beliefs are so sound and so strong, or as we find ourselves growing stronger and stronger in such beliefs, I submit to you, whether we talk about it or not, expectations are breeding. End time expectations are enlarging. Some individuals are becoming so excited that they are sensationalizing everything that may even resemble end time prophecy. Sure, there are types and shadows, things that resemble what is described in the scriptures. But I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, as proof enlarged, as end times prove to deliver extreme humbling conditions and events, we will grow to know that indeed there is much expected of us. Whether we have taken time and given thought to what expectations are becoming embedded in our beliefs, end times will prove to be very real. In other words, my brothers and sisters, our beliefs enlarge. We speak much about end times. And whether you realize it or not, those who watch, those who listen, and even ourselves, our expectations are growing. Yashar'al, there are tasks directed by the Spirit of Yahusha to many of us with some being disciplined in preparation for obedience unknowingly, and others are aware that we are being refined and disciplined, prepared for specific things. Many of the experiences that we have, many of the specific encounters that we are facing today will prove in the coming times, in the coming future, that within these actions, we will become prepared for what lies ahead. Consider this, O Yashar'al. There are increasing echoes regarding end times from across the board, from across the camps, from across the different religious factions. Curiosity is increasing among those who truly desire to pursue an understanding of life and identify He who is Almighty by name correctly and how to serve and worship Him. People are becoming more and more curious as end times become intense and wonder, what should we be doing? Or are we really doing what we're supposed to be doing? Wickedness is spreading beyond measure with no practical end in sight, whether it be political, governmental, or national. We see all types of wickedness spreading and growing, clouding out the things that are true, overpowering the things that are set apart, at least as it appears on the surface. But we have not been forgotten, nor are we forsaken by our Almighty Father. There are trends that are growing, either drawing people to set apartness or pushing the boundaries of rebellion under the guise of freedom. In other words, there's a trend, there's an awakening that is occurring. To the set apart ones, it's bringing us together. To the set apart children of Yahuah, we are recognizing one another as family. To those who are void of hearing His voice, to those who have no intentions of serving, they are pushing the limits, pushing life to its limits, so to speak. Global warming and climate change is real. It continues to emerge, but yet is ignored and overshadowed by politics, wars, and rumors of wars. But soon this will change. Soon we will recognize more clearly, especially when millions of people, millions on top of millions, start moving and migrating from areas that they once called home. The numbers are small right now in many places, but it will soon erupt globally that we will see tens of millions of people beginning to move away from areas that they once called home. The number of people desiring to be heard among Yasharal is increasing daily, with many people demonstrating an inability to discern the life in the scriptures. In other words, many people want to teach, but how many are talking about real life set apart instructions from the Most High through His set apart Spirit in Yahusha's name? Many people want to speak and want to be heard, but when we ask about discerning the words of the teacher, the Spirit from the words of our teacher Yahusha Mashiach, for some reason the response is mediocre at best. There are promises and prophecies, from discipline to vengeance to wrath, made by the Almighty Yahuah. Who among us is able to discern what must and will come to be? What should we be doing? Prepare to witness those answers in our actions in the coming days. End time expectations, my brothers and sisters. If we believe it, there should be a degree of expectation. That degree of expectation should bring us to a degree of worship and obedience that is better with each passing day. Out of all that we believe, there appears to be a growing awakening regarding end times as it pertains to the gathering from the four corners of the earth. As people begin to realize that there's not going to be this sudden, out of the blue rapture, this pre-trib rapture or a mid-tribulation rapture. As people begin to realize that we are in the end times, that there is something more expected of us, then we will see some phenomenal things ahead. Consider these passages as I move further into this segment, my brothers and sisters. John 6:44 and 12:32 I mention often about the Father drawing us. Let me read it. No one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I shall raise him up in the last day. This is John quoting Yahusha Mashiach. And John 12:32 says, If I am lifted up from the earth, shall draw all men to myself. So I say to you, my brothers and sisters, let us begin to identify, are we witnessing individuals who are being drawn by the Father? Can we identify individuals who, through worship and obedience to the Almighty Father, that are contributing to the lifting up of Yahusha Mashiach? If not, it's time to reassess whether we should be among such. John 10th chapter, verse 25 through 28 reads, Yahusha answered them, I have told you, and you do not believe. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness concerning me. But you do not believe because you are not my sheep. As I said to you, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give them everlasting life, and they shall by no means ever perish, and no one shall snatch them out of my hand. Are our actions reflective of sheep that hear the voice of Yahusha Mashiach? Are we in fellowship with those who hear the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha? For it is those who hear his voice that follow him. So how many of us have ever given thought that many of the individuals that are in compromising camps and fellowships where there's division, that there just might be individuals who can't hear his voice? They may not be his sheep, or they may just be unlearned. It would be wise to discern, to determine by the Spirit of the Most High in Yahusha's name whether that person is indeed one who should be hearing the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha, or one who will not hear because they are not his sheep. Micah 2:12 says, I shall certainly gather all of you, O Yaakov. I shall bring together the remnant of Yashar'al, put them together like sheep of the fold, like a flock in the midst of their pasture, they being noisy because of men. And many of you have heard me read Jeremiah 23:3-4 when he talks about gathering his flock from the lands that he has driven them. Jeremiah 23:3-4. Isaiah 43:5 when he talks about, I shall bring the seed from the east and gather you from the west. As well as Isaiah 11:12. Jeremiah 23:3-4, Isaiah 43:5, Isaiah 11:12. And if you would indulge me, read Isaiah 43:5, 6, and 7. And we will see where the Most High have promised to gather his children. There's much work to be done, O Yasharal. There should be expectations of leadership and structure, expectation of movement, expectation of the gathering of a set-apart awakening nation. Visit Revelation 7th chapter. For the 144,000 and a great multitude of many nations, kindreds, and tongues will come together, my brothers and sisters, will come together to a destination that will have a focal point as the set-apart mountain of Yahuah. Do we honestly believe what we read? Are we able to discern or witness someone who is able to discern? Are we able to discern, or have we witnessed someone who is able to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name? This is critical. If you don't know and don't understand how to discern, if you don't know what this means, ask questions, pray, and seek the Most High Father to understand, to clearly be able to make wise decisions. Do we understand the full dynamics of a relationship with He who is the Almighty Yahuah, who sent His set-apart Spirit in Yahusha's name? It is time that we begin to understand what that means, O Yashar'al. End-time expectations. All that is about to occur will prove to have people involved as it relates to end times. In other words, our beliefs, our expectation. This requires people involvement, set apart children's involvement, responding to His living instructions. If we truly believe we are, or just might be, in the ranks of those who are the final generation of those who will physically return to the promised land, it would be wise to realize there's much work to be done. It took Noah hard work and specific details to construct a massive ark according to the guidelines set by Abba Yahuah. It took discipline and accuracy and work to make a vessel that did not sink during the floods. So will we witness today, my brothers and sisters, that there's much work in the gathering of an awakening nation. There's much work in the assembling of a set-apart people to fulfill what is written regarding being gathered from the four corners of the earth. End times are here, O Yasharal, and with it comes duties that those who are drawn by Abba Yahuah, those led by His set-apart Spirit in Yahusha's name, must and will carry out duties beyond our wildest imaginations, hard choices, hard decisions. There will be purging, and there will be times of coming away from the rebellious and or the wicked ones among us. There will be times of correction. There will be disappointments and much heartache as we discover those who are not committed to discerning and doing the will of the Almighty Father, individuals who we thought were with us. We will see, O Yasharal, all that is promised take shape before our very eyes. The time is now to list all that we believe and begin to sort out all expectations that are and will be emerging related to our belief. We must and will, with all seriousness, prepare and begin to execute the living orders given either by the Spirit of Yahusha directly to us or through His chosen leaders and or His messengers. While we spend much time on our history and learn about our ancient cultures, it is time to look to He who is the Almighty One, Yahuah, and begin to discern what is ordered of us going forward as we anticipate the final Exodus, as we are readying for the physical return of Yahusha HaMashiach, as we prepare for the final and greater Exodus. Pray, my brothers and sisters. Pray some more. Study. Seek to discern the voice of the mighty shepherd Yahusha HaMashiach. Remember, O Yasharal, just as the Almighty Father Yahuah used people in days of old, we will witness proof and power from those He, Abba Yahuah, chooses today and in the coming days. Individuals that will prove to be led by the Spirit of Yahusha. Be encouraged, O Yasharal. Our redemption indeed draws near. I pray for each of us each day. As I witness the intensity arising from the discipline in hand of Abba Yahuah in Yahusha's name, I pray for us, O Yasharal. Be encouraged. Make no mistake, the realities of what lies ahead will prove to line up with set-apart expectations. For indeed, we will grow to realize that expectations are the fruits of our belief. And never forget, it is written, without belief it is impossible to please Abba Yahuah, as it is written in Hebrews 11:6. So how can we believe unless we hear? How can we hear unless someone speak? Unless we're able to discern, unless we're able to recognize. It requires studying. And as we believe, in our belief will come expectations. My brothers and sisters, there must be a drawing from Abba Yahuah, as I mentioned, as I quoted and read John 6:44. There must be a drawing. There must be the lifting up of Yahusha HaMashiach. There must and will prove to be the need to embrace belief of what is instructed by He who is the Almighty One, Yahuah, in Yahusha's name. End time expectations. Begin discussing what is expected of me, what's expected of those whom I'm in fellowship with, what's expected of us. Let us realize each day pass, and sooner or later, O Yashar'al, many of us will look back and say, wow, we found favor, but we will look back, as some will say they didn't have enough time to prepare, as some will say they didn't have enough time to get ready, as some will present a bucket of excuses or a litany or numerous excuses as to why they're unprepared. But those who are drawn of the Most High know this, O Yasharal, our Father will draw those who He have chosen to fulfill His promises regarding these final days, these end times, and the Almighty Yahuah will be successful in disciplining and refining those who will fulfill what is written. Am I, are you, are we in the ranks of those being refined? Each passing day will contribute towards the answer of such question. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, begin having discussions about real expectations as they line up with the scriptures as they are made alive. Real expectations that rise up out of our growing concern for what must be done in these final times. Real live discussions regarding discerning more and more, seeing more clearly what the Most High Father, Abba Yahuah, in Yahusha's name is revealing to us. Let us grow to understand what it is for our eyes to be made clear and our ears to be open. What it means to discern His living presence and respond to one another as led by Him, He who is Almighty, Abba Yahuah. His Spirit, sent in Yahusha's name, will indeed free us from strongholds, will teach us, will guide us, will comfort us. And all that is about to occur, O Yasharal, our comfort, true comfort, will only come in understanding what must and will be done. For this plan belongs to the Almighty Father. Until such time as next time, O Yasharal, be encouraged. Be encouraged. This journey is all too real. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom.